Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Talking Real Estate with Champions Real Estate Team at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Ambassador Real Estate Company. My name is Mark Wehner II, team of the Champions Real Estate Team. Joining me today is Russ Williams with Williams Mortgage. So every Wednesday we jump on here, kind of give you a rundown what's going on in the real estate market over the last week. But first off, let's get you our quick tip. So as we know, moving can be stressful. Selling your house can be stressful. So our goal here at Champions Real Estate Team in Berkshire is to make that as smooth as possible. The one tip I kind of give my sellers, after we kind of meet and do a consultation and kind of get an idea of what's going on at the house, I kind of tell my clients, hey, box a day. If you can box, one moving box a day, even if we're 6 months ahead of time or 3 weeks ahead of time, if you can at least start one box a day, by the time you have to move, it's going to be a lot less stressful because, a lot of times we're moving and, if we're moving in the winter, we're coming out of winter, we'll start packing up your winter clothes that you don't need and those type of things. And then it doesn't, in my mind, but a lot of clients come back to me and say, hey, that box a day was pretty good. I got started with one box and next thing you know, I did 3 or 4 boxes. And because you just get going on a closet or the storage room. And that really helps, I think, helps relieve that. Then all of a sudden you're at the end, you're like, oh my God, I got a week. I got to pack all this stuff. We got to move, and if you can start that, and that'll also help with the decluttering, in that aspect of it. Or you can have the, is that the keep, donate, pitch, you can start those piles going out there that you want to get rid of. So that's our quick tip, box a day, help keeps the stress away. So, right. But anyways, let's jump into the real estate side of it. What's going on in the last week. So we've still seen a very active real estate market. Over the last 7 days, we had 486 new listings go live. So that's up a little bit from last week. We had 426 contracts, up again a little bit from last week. And then our sold homes is up about 100 or so. So that's kind of when the weather started turning nice about a month ago. I think rates were kind of down just a little bit. And basically, the buyers came out in droves at that time. So that's what we're seeing over the last 7 days and kind of perspective of what's going on. We're still seeing that one in, one out aspect of it. Just got out of a mastermind meeting we did from 11:30 to 1 o'clock here at the Berkshire. Had about 15 other agents, in the office. So we kind of talked about what's going on. We're seeing just the culmination of the agents is that under about 350. It is still very active. I know they were talking, one of the listings that one of the agents had in there had 60 showings in one day. That was under the 250 price point. So, if you're seriously thinking about getting in the game, you really need to have a game plan. I think we hit that, nail on the head all the time about having a game plan, getting with a lender. But you need to. I mean, if you're going up against potentially 60 other people looking at that exact same house, you gotta assume that those people have probably written other offers. Some more experienced, and especially if you're not working with an experienced agent, because just a little over 62% of agents last year in 2020 sold 2 or fewer houses. So, I think that was about 1,900 agents, or it's 1,200 agents. I mean, it's 3,200 agents in Omaha, but that's a good portion of them that didn't do a lot of transactions last year. So, but yeah, so let's look at the 30,000 foot view. So these numbers are kind of similar to what they were last week. So I think when we look at the week to week, I think that's a little better picture, but it's always good to see the 30,000 foot view. So in the Omaha Lincoln area, just under 2,000 homes on the market. Douglas, Sarpy County, the Omaha metro area, just under about 1,124. That's very similar to what it was last week. And then we had existing homes at 364. And then our new construction's been down about 100 or so over the last month or so. So we were up in the 800s, 850. We're down about 778. Months of inventory dropped a little bit. Obviously, you can see numbers going down 1.7. Our average sold price went up $1,000. So it was at 319 this last week. Now it's at 320. But like I said, I talked to another agent that represents a new construction builder here in town, and they had 15 spec homes. I think he said at the beginning of December, and now they're down to about 3. And then I talked to another agent this morning that have clients that are looking at the new construction realm. And basically she was out of town the last couple of weeks, and they basically have sold 8 of their spec homes, in the last couple of weeks. So I think, in that upper price point, above 500, those houses that are out there, there's not that many, and people are looking at that new construction realm, and there's still some out there in the ground. I think there was 200 under construction out of that 700, or roughly about 220 some. So that leaves about 500 that are completed spec homes or model homes out there. So if you're looking at that, and when they're going and pricing out those new construction homes, that if you're pricing it out today, you're paying 2023 prices, on that product, on that lumber, on that concrete, all the, the things that go into building a house. Whereas some of those spec homes were started last, June, July timeframe. If they're just finishing now, take 9 months or a year to build, they're priced out on 2022 prices. So you're going to get that house a little bit less than you would if you're seeing a house that sticks and stones right now with the framing going up and you want to buy that house. So those are things, some of those builders obviously want to get those off their books. I know in the mastermind meeting, we're talking, some builders are offering closing costs, paying closing costs. They're trying to get rid of that inventory to move on to the next inventory in that regard. So market's still very active, and it's still obviously a great time to buy or sell. We'll obviously getting a game plan, but and the first part of that game plan is figuring out what your purchasing power is. So let's talk to Russ about how the purchasing power game's going out there in the Omaha metro area.
Well, oddly enough, today is Fed Day. Yesterday and today is Fed Day. Every 6 weeks, the Fed has their open market committee meetings, and as expected, they raised the short-term rate by 0.25% today. That's going to affect credit cards, student loans, and auto loans, and potentially further destabilize some of the regional banking situations. So we'll be watching that pretty close. But when the Fed is raising rates, Mark, they're trying to get inflation to come down. And the way that they look at inflation, it's backwards looking, kind of like looking in the rear view mirror. We're already seeing inflation numbers improving. So when we have the inflation numbers that come out in the next 2 weeks, actually the 10th would be a week from today, as a matter of fact, we're fully expecting that number is going to show some nice improvement in inflation, and hoping that will also push mortgage rates a little bit lower as we move into the second half of the year. I can't believe I'm even saying that. So I think that if you're looking at buying a home, this is a time to jump in. Mark, as we've talked about it, every 1% difference in interest rate is going to affect buying power by 10% when you're looking at financed money. So if you want to wait until rates go down, you may be competing with more buyers in that marketplace, and we already know inventory is a bit challenged. So I would encourage you to jump in now. Also, I've heard a lot of folks over the last week or 10 days, Mark, that have been talking about the media reports that there have been adjustments made to conventional financing that affect interest rates. The way it's being spun by the media is that if you have high credit scores, your rates are going to be worse. And if you have poor credit scores, your rates are going to be better. And there is a little bit of truth in that, but it's a little bit more complicated. So the bottom line, the most important piece is the earlier that somebody, to your point, can get in and get pre-qualified and put a plan together, the better we can help encourage and give them feedback on things they can do to improve their credit to get them the lowest possible rate possible at the time that they take out financing.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's like we say every week, I think having a game plan, especially in the market as crazy as it is, as active as it is. So it's a lot of fun, but it's stressful. Buyers get discouraged if, like I said, that house had 60 showings on it. Unfortunately, there's going to be 59 people that are going to have to go find another house, and keep getting out there and swinging the bat, for all intents and purposes. So, and that's as agents, we're part coach, educator, counselor, psychologist. We have to, our goal is to take that emotions out of it, because when you're buying and selling a home, there are a lot of emotions going on in that process. And so our goal is to look at the numbers, look at the facts, and present those to our clients, and so they can have all the information possible to make the best decision for them, whether it's cost of the house, location of the house, age of the house, there's a lot of different factors that go into it in that process. So, but yeah, we'd love to chat with you. If you have any questions, comment on any of our social media platforms. We love to chat with our listeners out there and our clients and such. And so, any topics that you want to cover, just give us a holler. Reach out to me on my text right down here, 672-7670. If you got any lender questions, give Russ a holler, 290-8936. He can help you. The different type of loans out there. Are there grants out there that may be available to you as a first-time home buyer? Credit scores, how can we help with those? Those are all things, and surrounding yourself with a good, solid home buying team throughout that process. So, we have lists of different lenders and, contractors and such that if you need help, we have a lot of good referral basis from that perspective of it. So appreciate everyone listening to us today. And like I said, if you have any questions, reach out to us. Happy to help. And enjoy the nice weather. Bill Ramby says it's supposed to be a top 10 day today. So I actually watched the news for the first time in a long time. So a lot of times I'm listen to podcasts and just trying to expand my horizons as far as what's going on out there. So anyways, appreciate everybody, and talk to you next week.